The world of Doom.
You still,
IT
you still
world.
in the, you still in the IT world?
Oh yeah.
I quit that. I retired. I don't write code anymore. I don't design anymore. New databases.
I got
Right.
Except for me.
29 needy car dealerships that call me.
I
Oh.
did IT work for what 27, 28 years, and one day I kind of woke up and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I don't want anything to do with this entire industry, and that was that.
Well,
You know-
I didn't get upset being paid to design databases for people.
You know, I don't even get to do
especially government
any of the
agencies.
fun IT stuff anymore. I don't get to migrate servers from one to the other. I don't get to haul databases. Most of my job is taking care of people who do that and budgeting and dealing with executives and dealer principals from car dealerships who are just car salesmen that make more money. It's just
Yeah.
it's more of a personnel factor than it is anything else.
Yeah, I've done just about everything in the tech industry world, but one one of my bigger frustrations was when I was doing custom websites, and so you get these people that they barely know how to turn the computer on, right? And they call you and they tell you what you want, and of course they give you this very basic gist of what they want for a website, and of course every time, it's like, yeah, that's not a problem. We can do that. And then as the project goes on, when you give them exactly what they described, no, that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Every time. And so then they start getting in deeper, and they'll come up with these ideas for things that are absolutely not possible. They want things that oh, I was watching an episode of Star Trek last night, and the computer looked like this, and I'd really like to be able to do something like that. That's not possible, Bob. You can't do that.
We can't do that yet.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I quickly got out of that. I think that whole line of work literally lasted like 2 months. And at one point I worked, I was doing support and coding for a company called the Restaurant Solution, and they did custom software for the touchscreens that restaurants use, and they had another brand that you could use for like retail stores and whatnot called the Retail Solution. Anyway, basically the same thing. And we would have. I'm not an accountant, but I remember my basic home ec class in high school. And I would get calls like every week from these people. Well, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday last week, I hit month end, and now my books are all fucked up. Well, no shit, you don't say. It's only month end for a reason, idiot. You don't click that button. There's another button if you want to do it on Friday called weekend. You could do that, and your books wouldn't be messed up. It's even better when they would sit there and click over and over year end. So their accounting books would think that the year had ended like 4 times in a week, and that. Well, how do I fix it? Ugh. Yeah. Hold on. Let me get my calculator.
Get a brain.
Yeah.
Get a brain.
Let me get
take
a
basic accounting course.
Hello, Sarda.
Business, take a basic accounting course.
Yeah. Or my solution was get a hatchet and start removing their fingers, but just stop clicking that.
You just need a crazy warning.
Yeah.
It's like, is it really year end?
Well, and I would ask them. I'm like, well, it's not month end. I mean, it's like the 15th. Why are you clicking month end?
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, you could hear the blank stare through the phone, like there's no data getting into the tiny little brain in their skull.
I had the situation where I was not in IT. I was a business analyst, and yet I was the most techie of the people on my team. I built all of our databases and stuff. So they decided that I needed to build our team website.
Oh, great.
And I'm sitting there going, I've never built a website before. And they're like, well, we'll get a project manager assigned to you. So now I have a project manager.
Oh yeah, because that'll make
who's-
things work better.
That'll make things so much better.
who'd sit there and go, so do we think this is going to be done by Thursday? I'm
Right.
like, well, I've never done it before, and I don't know what I'm doing. So sure, let's say Thursday. It's like
Which Thursday?
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Thursday of what year?
When I was in the Air Force, I had a commander who decided that he would tell me that I was supposed to have the mainframe we had access to run and look and operate just like an Apple Mac.
just build a real quick GUI. It'll be no big
and
deal.
I'm sitting here underground, several hundred feet in the middle of a mountain, in a classified computer, and he wants me to do what? Yeah, VT100 terminal's going to work like an Apple.
Even now, most mainframes don't even have a GUI interface.
They don't have a GUI. The operating system doesn't know what it is.
There's a couple that have since come out, but really all they are is just a kernel shell. It's not even a real. It's not the real thing. It's basically like the original Windows. It's just a shell that goes over the top of it,
Yeah.
Like,
so you can have a GUI interface.
And in my opinion, that's the same stupid mistake that they made by inventing America Online. Because see, I'm old enough that I remember when before the internet was called the internet, it was still DARPANET. And you would go on there
when it was before that.
Yeah, right.
I started going online in '78.
We used the prototype DARPANET to network the mainframes I was working on.
But you would log on there, and it was mostly populated with moderately intelligent people, because the only people that had access to this were the military, the academics, and a few others. I fell into the miscellaneous few others, and that was only because we knew what we were doing. So you had this clustered group of people that knew what they were doing, and then AOL came along, and
Prodigy, right?
Prodigy, Quantum Link, they were CompuServe, yeah.
But I was on the BBSs back in '78.
Yeah, BBSs.
That's how I would connect to DARPANET, was through BBS. First, you had to dial up their system, then you had to have a login for DARPANET, and their system would contact that system.
Yeah. Shell in.
Yeah, and shell in. Yeah. At a ping of like 3 minutes, but whatever. with my rockin' 9600 baud modem, which was considered fast.
We had a rockin' 50K connection between the mainframes.
Jesus Christ.
I had my 300 baud acoustic modem for my Commodore PET.
I remember using one of those. You ever used 110 baud acoustic modem?
I never had the misfortune of using something that slow, but
I had the 300. I had a Commodore PET in '78, and so that's what it used.
Yeah, I started with a 300, and it was a big deal when I was able to upgrade to the 96. And they weren't acoustic modems; they were actually the internal port modems on the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
But the 300 was weird because it would plug into the port, and then it had another wire that one end had an RCA plug, and it plugged into the back of the modem module itself, and then the other end was like a 9-pin coax that plugged into the back of the Commodore 64 as well, and it was like an audio cable. It was very weird. And I remember when we got the 9600 baud, I'm like, hey, this one doesn't have the audio cable, which always seemed redundant to me anyways. Why didn't they just put it in the port?
I was always jealous of the guys with Apples because they had that Apple Cat modem, which was just slick.
Mm.
It had the black boxes and everything else built into it. I mean, Captain Crunch designed that for Jobs and Wozniak.
Yeah.
And so it was designed to phone freak right out the box.
Oh God.
So-
phone freaking. All right.
So
well,
are we drinking rum right now in the beautiful world, or wherever this is?
not yet, but we will get to that. Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. These guys have just spent 7 months in transit from Hikamashi to Tobia, and they could have you could have done it in like 21 weeks, but that would have pushed your crew exceptionally, because it would have set actually a record for Jump 4 transit, and I don't think your crew's up to that yet. You're going to be pushing them hard enough. They are going to be arriving in Tobia, and that's where we'll be picking up. Before we get started, we'd like to thank one of the friends of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind, and since I saw her new product today, let's go ahead and thank the Speechless Bard. Speechless Bard makes leather products for your tabletop role-playing games, such as leather covers for your core rulebooks. She's got dice bracelets. In fact, it's not actually a dice bracelet like her other ones, but she does have a new bracelet that she just came out with that has a D20 on it, with the 1 showing, and around the D20 it says "fuck around, find out." So, I almost feel like I need to order one of those, but yeah, she's got a ton of products. All of them are really cool. They can be customized. She does all of the work, the customization and artwork by hand. She actually goes to the leather distributors and hand picks out her swaths of leather rather than ordering them in bulk. She does amazing work. If you're in the U.S. and you're going to order, you'll want to give yourself a little bit of extra time, because she is in the U.K. and so with the whole shipping problems that have been going on since the beginning of the pandemic, and distance, it may take a little bit. This next piece of news. So normally I would plug our Obsidian Portal website, but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like I may be dropping the Obsidian Portal websites, because I kind of feel like it's more or less just a vanity project. It's some place that I throw out random bits and pieces of information that mostly is for you guys, that you can see something from an alternate point of view, or you can see hints of something that's coming or what have you. And the websites have just not really, they've never gained any traction as far as viewership goes. So I don't know. I might be dropping the Obsidian Portal website, but if you want to check it out before I do so, you can go down to the description down below, and the link will be in the description. The news articles are in the adventure log. They generally deal with everything going on around the travelers, but depending on what the travelers do, they might take a front page view. So, if you like what you see, go to the front page and give us a thumbs up. We like to see those, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure that it'll be there next month. So, any way to make the channel save a little bit of money. So where we left off, you guys are in jump space, and the ship-wide chime, very calming chime goes off, ding ding, letting you know that you will be exiting jump space for the Tobia system soon, and over the intercom, all senior command staff is being called to the bridge for a meeting. Let me bring this up. Since we know, let's see here. When is the main bridge? Briefing rooms. You're going to be right in here. And so, yeah, you guys are all called into a briefing room. And when I say you guys, I mean you being the... I hope if I can spell. There we go. So you guys being the command of the... you being the chief mission officers, and of course the command staff for flight and operations and engineering are all brought in, and the captain and the executive officer are kind of running this meeting, and they kind of go over what's going to happen at Tobia. And so essentially you guys are going to come into Tobia. You're actually going to come into port. The executive officer tells you guys that you've been in jump space for nearly 7 months, and that has taken a huge bite out of your supplies, and so the ship will fully restock at Tobia. Now, of course, when I say it's taken a big chunk out of your supplies, you haven't gotten to this additional stuff that you purchased and put into the cargo hold. That's still in the cargo hold, but he's just going off of the standard inventory on the ship, and that, I mean, what you guys bought isn't enough to replenish that. So that'll be first and foremost. The ship won't be undergoing a refit, but it will be, engineers at Tobia will be going over it for repair work, minor adjustments, things of that nature. While you are on Tobia, there will be a large week-long gala event. The internet video star Tisney Zazzle, who is also the de facto leader of the planet Salif, will be putting on a benefit concert. There will be fancy dinner parties and dances and balls and all sorts of media events. You guys will likely be hounded. The captain reminds you that you are still falling under classified information. So he tells you publicly what's known is that Deepnight and Revelation will be transiting down the Great Rift and moving towards a point known as Terminus Point. And that is essentially all that... that's basically all the public knows. They don't know why. The media is hyping up that this is the biggest exploration mission in history, and you guys are of course going to be treated like heroes today and used for product placement today, and tomorrow everybody will forget who you are.
So what's known of the expedition, and what are we freely allowed to talk about?
You're allowed to talk about pretty much everything except for the Deepnight entity and the reason why you're going out there. The Imperial Intelligence really wants to avoid that because they don't want to cause a widespread panic throughout the region.
So no fungus talk.
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody finds out and asks why your ship is named the Desinex, you may have to come up with a reason. Aside from that, they tell you that the information is known. The true purpose of the mission is known by some high levels of the brass, but not everybody. So be on your guard. Don't let it slip if you can help it, and just be aware that the public just thinks that you are a straight exploration and charting mission. Any questions about what you will be seeing on Tobia? Or plans? Is there anything that you want to? No, Tobia.
Money off of this, of they using my face for product placements. That's my biggest thing, and I'm not really. My character's not really into that. I'm just doing it just to make some extra coin on the side.
Absolutely.
So did our social at any point increase from anything we've done?
Yeah, I would say so far your social at this point.
Because I'm rocking a 6. That's I walk into this.
Everybody's social would go up by 2.
All right.
Oh, geez, I'm a 10.
I'm a 6.
Yeah. I was gonna say they're sitting. Otherwise, they're sitting people that are woefully unqualified to talk to these people.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. No, you are some of the more. You have more celebrity status than a lot of the other groups because you guys were handpicked and you come from every walk of life, and here you are, the mission commanders of the mission division. So you are very much sought after for people want to do interviews and things of that manner. Now, Tobia is a world-girdling city, and it is tech level 15. Like I said, the downport is surrounded entirely by skyscrapers. There's aliens from 100 different worlds that all show up to meet and trade on Tobia. You guys have been to Tobia once before, so this shouldn't be an absolute shock. But this might be one of the last times that you will see a tech level 15 Imperial world. So, if there is any last minute shopping or something of that manner that you want to do on a tech level 15 world.
And have we drawn 7 months of salary since leaving? I mean, so...
Yes, you would have. And hold on here. I'll tell you what that equals. So you would each gain another 42,000 credits.
All right.
And with that, the meeting is adjourned, and it is within the next hour that the astrogator announces your arrival in Tobia. And so the ship exits jump space, and there's a big flash, and you are in real space. And so this, of course, is the Tobia system. There it is. Tobia being 1.72 AU from the F75 primary, and this, of course, is the planet map. This planetary map is actually kind of accurate. I mean, it's as accurate as it really needs to be. Like I said, Tobia is a world-girdling city. So if you have seen, of course, Coruscant from Star Wars, this really kind of fits that description a little bit better than the world map. but I don't think there is any kind of plotting for a world map. But this would be an example of the Tobia downport. And so this is just a big city as far as the eyes can see. And Deepnight Revelation actually is docked at the high port, and you guys are shuttled down to the city. Not by any of the subordinate ships on Revelation. Actually, Tobia Downport has their own shuttles that take you in, and all the craft on Revelation are going to be gone over by engineers and checked and tested and diagnosed and et cetera, et cetera.
I don't want those guys touching my ship.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put the order down that nobody touches the Destinex but you guys, you can.
Yeah.
And medical bay is considered off limits to anybody outside mission control staff due to the sensitive
I'd like
nature.
to volunteer to be a guinea pig, Josephus.
Due to the presence of a still.
Well,
it's strictly for medicinal
and
purposes.
what's the monkey doing?
Well, I imagine the monkey's
monkey
going with you.
Yeah, the monkey hangs out with me. He's my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, you can put a lockdown on the med bay if you'd like, or
I've got a lot of information. Yeah, I've got a lot of information about the fungus in there, and
I was just going to say there's going to be several sections of the ship that will be off limits, even to the engineers, because these engineers have not been cleared. So they probably have no idea, and you don't want somebody accidentally finding information. So these ships come down. the shuttles drop you off at the starport, and after all your time that you have spent, I mean, especially the years spent working on a rift hauler in the Great Rift, and the time you spent, even the time you spent world hopping over in the island subsectors. This is when you step off of these shuttles and into the starport. It is a bit of culture shock. I mean, you almost have to turn sideways to get through the throngs of people. Is how many are here on this planet. It is just high population. Vargur, Aslan, humans, Hivers. I mean, you even see a group of Kakri, which is very odd. And everything, they seem like they're sticking together, of course, in their familial units, but it's very strange to see them.
Won't offer them any meat.
Yeah. It's odd to see them, but not completely unheard of. There are some Kakri that do travel, as long as they can travel as a group, without wanting to kill all meat eaters. They're few and far between, but they do exist. But yeah, there is just pretty much every race. There's even a couple of the other. What's the name of your race, Josephus?
Oh, Chikari.
Yeah, the Chikari. You even see some of them. I was just going to call you dolphin people, but I keep forgetting Chikari.
Come on.
I know. I was trying to remember it the other day.
I know. I
It's not a common one, and when you do a Google search with dolphin, you end up with the elevated dolphin instead.
Right.
If you have access to Behind the Claw.
Oh, gotcha.
It's in there.
Yep.
It's one of the races from there.
So yeah, you are in this very cosmopolitan, very clean, busy starport.
Okay. I am gonna cut loose and enjoy myself. I mean, this will be the last civilization we get for a while.
Well, not. I wouldn't say the last civilization, but the last imperial. Yeah, the last high-tech imperial civilization that you're going to encounter. You might encounter other high-tech. Their plan is that from Tobia, they are going to transit along the Dust Belt through the Trojan Reach to Yggdrasil, and then from Yggdrasil they will cross the Florian League and enter into the Beyond sector. And from there, I mean, they do know a little bit about the Beyond sector, and they know a little bit about the Vanguard Reaches, but not enough to really be super confident. So after you guys get out of, after you leave Yggdrasil, you're going to be much more in explorer mode. You'll be paying attention to more stuff around you. So, they don't know what kind of reception you'll receive. But having said that, so you're going to cut loose, Josephus.
Yep. High tech as possible. Holographic bars, robot prostitute houses. Gonna just do the ring. Have it all.
Okay. What is Randolph going to do?
Well, the first thing Randolph's going to do is he's getting ready for a setup. He's making a message to send home to tell his dad, "Nanny, nanny, nanny, I have more social than you do now."
Okay.
This is because my dad wanted me to be a politician because he's the tax collector for the whole damn planet I come from.
Oh. Okay.
There's so few people on the planet I come from that we don't have a planetary government. There's only 3 cities, and the main landing city, the city government substitutes for the planetary government dealing with the
So basically a despot, dictator kind of situation.
Well, yeah, everybody wants to know my dad because he's going to collect their taxes.
Right.
Yeah, so he was upset that I joined the Navy and left.
So Randolph is composing are you going to go with Bocephus and follow him around as you're composing this note, sitting at the bar next to him?
No. I'm going to go test to the high social part of town and see what the other better people live like.
Okay, well, you do have rooms in the Duke's estate.
That's be okay.
Yeah, so you can go check into your room at the palace. I really hesitate to call it a palace, though, because it doesn't seem like the Duke of Tobia would really be one to have a palace. It's some kind of estate, but I don't necessarily know palace is the right term. It's probably this big monstrosity right here in the middle.
He probably just refers it casually as like the manor house.
Yes.
Yeah, just totally downplays the reality of
the cottage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cottage. It's only 300 stories tall.
Right,
one of those douchey things, passive aggressive ways.
Right, something that some douchey nobleman would do. What is Jack doing? The flat. Yes.
He's gonna take a nap.
Yeah, Jack, you have a plan for, or are you just gawking at all the high tech wizardry here?
I'm just gonna go to the more scummy parts of town. I'm not looking for complex or technological. I'm just looking for a good time.
Okay, all right. What's George got in mind?
George is going to hang out. He's going to look for different ways to invest his new money. It's probably more money than he's ever made in his whole life. He's got 42,000 credits burning a hole in his pocket. He wants to make the best of it.
You go shopping with me.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
I'm gonna look into some advanced polycarapace armor.
Something better than what they're doling out for standard issue on the ship.
Yeah.
Tell us if we could buy better armor, because you keep telling us no.
Especially with Viz-Light Chameleon, so that you can go invisible.
So it looks like...
I'm down with that. I'll go shopping with Sarda then.
So it looks like Tobia... Let me take a look here.
I know the law level won't allow it. It's just whether they'll sell it for use off-planet type thing.
Right, yeah, it's like law level 5. Is that right? 5?
I got a boarding vac suit improved, and that's all there is.
Does it...
Law level 5, maybe you can wear cloth armor. I don't even know if that's...
So 5, let's see. You can wear mesh in 5.
And diplomatic vest.
Yeah, or dip vest, of course. Yeah, so mesh cloth.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if they sell it in terms for use off planet. Since this is the capital and it's a high tech level world, people do leave this world and go other places. I would think that they would go there with some of the high tech items that are available here.
That is a good question.
Because there are very few low law level high tech worlds. Very, very few. And all of this armor and weaponry has to be made and purchased somewhere. And so...
So what tech level of armor are you trying to buy?
13.
There's 1. Three. Oddly enough, as far as availability goes, law level doesn't really apply much, other than whether or not it's banned.
You can't wear it, but you can you buy it and own it and put it on your spaceship and then fly to other places with it. That's really what I'm looking at.
Look at it.
I don't plan on wearing it around, but I would like to purchase it.
So let me see what this says for population. So pop 10. So yeah, you can go ahead and roll.
Sure.
Let me tell you what to roll here. Well, roll 2d plus 5, and you're like, you can use broker or streetwise check, and you get a plus 5 to that, or Tobia's modifiers. You can add an additional plus 2 to that if you'd be willing to pay double the list price, or I'm sorry, a plus 1 if you are willing to pay double list price.
Not really. So so what am I adding a bonus of what to this without doing the double?
Plus
cost?
5.
Okay.
Don't forget, you also still get to add your streetwise or broker.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a 12.
Yeah. You can purchase that.
Awesome.
What are you purchasing?
Advanced polymer.
Polycarapace.
Yeah, advanced polycarapace armor.
I guess if I got to shop for anything while I'm here, I'd like to find some side drugs. Got to go to the black market.
You're going to this is a rough planet to look for those.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more imperial than Tobia unless you're, on capital.
Yeah, because that armor was 35 grand. I didn't really want to spend 70 grand on it.
Here. So yeah, you can make so Bocephus, in your travels through the nightclubs and whatnot. First of all, how much money are you spending on booze and carousing?
Let's have a fun time with it. Let's spend 9,500.
Holy shit. Okay. Well,
We're leaving Imperial space, and
so you're buying drinks for a lot of people. I will allow you
high dollar ones.
I will allow you to roll either your choice, either carouse or streetwise. And everything all said and done, that gives you an additional +4 to your roll.
Can I add charm too?
Either charm or social.
Charm.
Do it.
11.
Okay, so yes, you can. And that says, where are my drugs? Let's see here. Side drugs. Yeah, you can. Standard side drugs are available at double the price, so 2,000 credits per dose.
All right. No problem. The standard side drug, yeah.
And this dealer at, well, he only has 2 doses.
I'll take them both.
Okay.
Yep, 2 doses standard side drug.
So yeah, each dose of that will give you 3 side point restored and give you a +2 boost. Which is nice, because in the 2014 rulebook, they just gave you back side points. They didn't give you a boost. So yeah, you are. In fact, you're going to make an athletics endurance check. If you don't have athletics endurance, it'll just be a raw endurance check.
All right. Just give me 1 second. I'm recording. There we go. Now I can go back to this page. You want me to do endurance, you said?
Yes.
And athletics, so +1. All right, here we go. Three.
You rolled 2 ones.
Well,
Yep.
I got +1 too, so yeah, 3.
Oh shit on me. Okay.
So just getting arrested.
No.
He just got arrested buying drugs.
You're not very
that would be
not-
funny.
I mean, you're only a weird alien race that's a minor celebrity as you visit this planet as part of a. And you're probably in uniform.
Oh no, I've forgone clothing and have glittered and body painted my body, and I'm just rolling with it. I've got a fanny pack that's got my money and drugs in it.
And your blade.
So no, but you do get sick enough that you're puking out your blowhole.
As I'm getting sick, I want to go ahead and try to regenerate myself to cure that up.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Oh my gosh.
So let me look at the rules for it. I know I get plus.
Well, you
One,
get
two,
your psi.
three,
You get your
four.
psi modifier,
And
and whatever that particular skill is at.
yeah, I got an awareness of 2, and then I've got a psi of 12, so that's +4.
It's so funny that that you rolled those 2 ones, because I was just looking in the Traveler Companion about mishaps. It's like, well, if somebody rolls Snake Eyes and it's still a failure, then there's a chance for a mishap. And I'm like, you know what, though? Every time, most of my players, whatever it is they're trying to do, they have a high enough skill and ability check that it's usually not that bad of a failure. But then you come along, and
Oh,
yeah, that was fantastic. So with a 10, you are able to regenerate.
Yep, and I'll just dump however many points I need to get my endurance.
So basically,
back.
you're down 3 endurance.
Then I will use the 3 psi points it takes to put them back.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, you are nauseous and partying like a dolphin that's just been freed from Miami SeaWorld. But aside from that, you regen.
Nice analogy.
So Randolph, you compose your letter. I assume that you're going to send it on the next available X-boat out of Tobia.
Yes. To Preslin, which is in Duke of Dubin region.
I'm just going to roll 2D. Yeah, sending a message, that is going to cost you 70 credits.
Okay.
That's cheap.
Yeah, that's fairly cheap.
Next thing, okay, I wanted to get one of these polycarb armor as well.
Yeah, you can run to catch up with George and Sarda. So yeah, you can spend the money and buy one of those as well. What page is that polycarb on?
That is the CSC page. I'm looking at all the accessories for it right now. So it is, the chart itself is page 13.
And the
description of it, description's on 14.
Yeah, there it is. So yeah,
I mean,
plus 16 protection, TL 13.
It's 2 kilograms, and it doesn't require any skill to use.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't offer any radiation or environmental protection, but
C'est la vie.
Yeah, but it can take a punch. Yeah, it's funny that you say "C'est la vie" now, but you were the one who took the most damage Wednesday night.
I'm almost dead on Wednesday night.
Radiation poisoning.
Radiation can be nasty.
Yeah.
I took 235 point radiation.
Yeah. Gregor's glowing inside of his vac suit.
Well, that's because I don't have a very good suit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, well, I mean, you're new to the Pirates group, so don't worry. I mean, the more you know. So, I'm sure they'll set you up.
15,000 for this thing.
It's 35 grand for the base. Yeah, I'm adding a bunch of stuff to mine.
I just want the lightweight polycarb.
Yeah, 35 grand is the base cost for the armor if you're not getting anything added to it.
No,
yeah,
I'm
15,000.
I'm doing the T11.
Yeah, if the advanced is available, the lightweight's available. I mean, Tobia with law level 5. I mean, it's not going to be overly different than kind of our modern society. Actually, I would say our modern society might have especially here in Washington, might have a slightly higher law level. So of course, lightweight is going to be available.
My boarding vac suit has got more than that.
Well, yeah, but it's also a lot heavier and more clumsy. I mean, 2 kilograms for the advanced is pretty lightweight. I mean, I think my gun weighs more than that.
Yeah, I mean, the lightweight and advanced, Polycarapace is pretty much what you're going to see like SWAT teams and whatnot wearing. I mean, decent SWAT teams. So
yeah, I want to get the 15K one.
yeah, you can do that. So Jack, you find the some of the lower city nightlife, and there's a bunch of dive bars, and there's of course a strip mall that has a tobacco vape shop, a liquor store, and a gun shop, and a pawn shop, all in that's the whole strip mall. That's what's there. So, and then of course across the street is the red light district. So, what's Jack getting up to in the dregs of Tobian society?
Oh, I'm just getting lost, trying not to be a celebrity.
Yeah, so like the others, sorry, this picture caught me, and I have to say something. So if you look on page 13 of the Central Supply Catalog Update 2023, there is a picture of the cloth jacket, and I'm looking at that, and the only thing missing from it is the insignias and whatnot. But tell me that's not the jacket from the 1978 version of Battlestar Galactica.
What page are you looking on?
Page 13. And it's listed as the cloth jacket at the bottom of the page. It sure looks like
It's the
That's
Starbucks
the Battlestar Galactica jacket.
the
Yeah.
Starbucks jacket.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like looking at him like that looks really familiar.
Or in red, it would be Picard's jacket on that one or two episodes. He wore a
very
that.
similar. Yeah.
he had the
Anyways,
Shaco when the walls fell. He wore
so
that.
I would assume that
So.
Jack is probably not in uniform for one. You're probably in your off-world your standard dungarees, And I mean, Tobia, you don't have to worry about wearing a respirator. Tobia is, or was, essentially a garden planet until they built a gigantic city on it. Lots of water, plenty of air. I don't believe it has a tainted atmosphere. They're high enough tech level that you just have gigantic Dyson air filters on top of the skyscrapers. So you're just avoiding people, more or less.
Yeah,
Okay.
mostly.
Okay. George, what are you up to? I mean, I know you're with Sarda. Are you investing some money in yourself, or are you?
You know, what? I'm not going to invest in it. I'm going to hang on to my money.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally going to hang on to my money.
So
I'm just going to hang out.
I'm
going to watch over Sarda.
And I should
going to make sure that, if Bohefus gets into trouble, that we can bail him out.
So I should have thought of this.
Oh, wait a minute. That already happened.
I should have thought of this during your meeting. The one of the things that you're told, part of this transit after, once you get through the Florian League and into Beyond and Vanguard, and there's a lot of independent systems between the edge of the Florian League and then rimward to Denman, where that's really where your mission really starts at Denman. There's a lot of independent systems, and it's not like Beyond and Vanguard are completely unknown. In fact, Imperial ships oftentimes go in and out of those areas, usually on trade routes. But a lot of the independent systems, it's not like your money will be devalued. Like, a lot of those independent systems are still aware that the Imperial credit is still strong. It has good backing, so a lot of times they will accept it, or at the very least they'll accept it in trade. But So it's not like your money will be completely devalued. But once you get to Denman, you know, you might as well just invest that money in a bank because
That's why I figure I want to buy good armor with my money because I'll have the armor.
Right.
The money may not be useful. Now you definitely could whatever you could trade it for gold or whatever you think.
Well,
might be
imperial. If you go hard currency, imperial plaques are essentially platinum ingots. So the metal value alone should be worth 1 credit or however many credits per ingot. But I mean, that can't be light to carry around. Just saying, that's an option as well. So, so George, you're just going to hang on to your money, eh?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's I'm good actually. I got everything that I've got more than what I ever thought I would ever have, so I'm happy.
Okay.
And then I'm buying databases of books and TV shows and movies and video games.
Sure, go ahead and deduct how much you would think you want to spend on that. I know that you usually buy in bulk.
Yeah. I'll spend a couple thousand on that stuff.
Okay. So yeah, you guys spend the evening bouncing around doing your various things, and
because I've got a VR helmet.
Bocephus and Jack get back to you have a suite at the Imperial Estate or the Duke's Estate, and Bocephus, you guys get back at a fairly reasonable hour, but Jack and Bocephus, they get back the wee hours of the morning. Bocephus is looking pretty rough for a hungover dolphin in the morning, and the monkey is attempting to get Bocephus coffee and Gatorade.
Throwing it in his face.
He got drunk with me.
Yeah, the monkey's probably the monkey's probably also drunk, and so
hell yeah, he is. Banana flavored vodka, just tearing it up.
Yeah, right. And so tonight there's going to be this concert. And then there will be a gala dinner that the Duke is throwing for basically the entire crew of Revelation. And there will be, of course, media and anybody who's everybody is supposed to be at this dinner. And the dress code is that you're going to show up in Revelation dress uniform.
Yeah.
So you arrive for this gala dinner, and it is in a large dining hall that looks like it's the size of a shopping mall, and like I said, anybody who's somebody is at this event. There's constant camera flashes. You guys are constantly being followed around by media, being semi-interviewed. You're asked to take a picture while holding this can of Coke, and take a picture. Say into the camera that you like to use Head and Shoulders. You probably are going to end up with and of course you get free product with this as well. And so, a couple of pallets of Coke will be delivered, and a couple of pallets of dandruff shampoo will be delivered, and don't forget the Old Spice swagger. There's going to be a lot of Old Spice swagger going around the Revelation. And
gonna need a hell of a lot of for 28 years.
right. Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe not quite that much, but a lot. More than you've seen.
I can be wearing my rebreather. I can tell a lot.
Yes.
Everybody walking around with all this cologne on.
Right.
Spacesuit.
Right.
It's exactly what you want.
And so this concert goes off, and Tisney Zazzle does her show, and everybody watching this show kind of, it would be like watching Cher. It's like, she's still talented, but her prime is past her. And so you
she's running a planet. She's got a lot to do.
Yes, that's true. And she's singing, and there's this dinner event, and eventually throughout the night, yes, the implanted breather mask, yes. And so the Duke gathers all of the command staff and a couple of notables, at least they appear to be notables, and invites all of you to a private audience. He would like to spend some time getting to know you all better. Everybody make a recon plus intellect check.
Oh, you're going to hate me.
Yeah?
Yeah, that is a 11, 14, 16.
Ooh. Okay, it looks like
I got a 4.
I got an 8.
everybody except for Randolph. Randolph is just, looking around at
having a good time.
all
That's it,
all the people, and he's really mesmerized by the technicality of Tisney Zazzle's show, because she's got holograms going on and like a light and water show going on. I mean, he's like, wow, did you see that? That's really cool. I wonder how she did that. Yeah, he's just looking at the stage. The rest of you kind of look around as you guys are all moving towards this private audience hall to drink with the Duke. And you're kind of looking around at the other people that are being brought in. When I say other people, I mean people that aren't crew and staff of RSS Deepnight Endeavor, or excuse me, Deepnight Revelation. And you notice that there is a group of 5 individuals that are in military dress uniforms, and these dress uniforms look exceptionally dated. Not that they're falling apart or in any way, but they they do not look like a modern dress uniform that you have recognized. And all of these guys have a fruit salad of medals, and there are medals that you do not recognize.
It's like these guys like from Bernie or one of those planets.
No, but they've
been in low birth for the last 500 years.
Since Sarda asked, Sarda, you can make it would probably be a science history check, but I'll allow you to just make a intellect check.
Sure. Not education.
No.
Well, it's your choice, either intellect or education.
Yeah, I'm not very smart. I got a 3 with my education bonus of +1. I rolled 2 1s.
So the best that you can do is that I mean, you're trying to remember, your history about the area, and of course Tobia is like at the edge of the Trojan Reach. And so you're kind of you're like, that looks, the insignia on that looks really familiar. So you guys are drawn back into this private audience hall, and so you're back in this private audience hall, and champagne, the finest champagne you've ever tasted, is served. There is caviar, cigars, you name it. This is the height of luxury. And people are milling about talking. And the Duke is over talking to these individuals, these 5 people in these military uniforms. And you overhear him mention that say something along the lines of that. Well, I'm very honored to meet you. I'm glad that that King Oleb was able to send designates to such an important function as this. I'm sure that Drinax will benefit from the exploration program as much as we all will. And they kind of shake hands, and it seems to you that the leader of this group, the highest ranking member, is this woman, and they have an Aslan. One of the 5 is an Aslan, and it's clear to you that his uniform has been altered to fit him, but he is wearing this uniform, and he's the only one of them that is armed. He's got a big axe slung on his back, and they all shake hands, and the Duke comes over to you guys, and he
wakes up Ophisis.
And so the Duke comes over to you guys, and he passes out cigars to you and whatnot, and he says, so tell me more. He comes over and he shakes each of your hands, and he shakes Bocephus's hands. He says, so Doctor, you must have a major part. I mean, it is my understanding that you guys are not only the mission division commanders, but that you are the troubleshooters for the revelation. Tell me, Doctor, what is it? What is your specialty?
My specialty is
involuntary pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, pharmaceuticals.
Interrogation.
Pharmaceuticals and
experimental medicine.
Upkeep of mental health. I like to think of myself as not only the medical doctor, but the ship's counselor.
Wow.
Because I give excellent mental health advice. It's unparalleled.
He says that's very interesting, and he turns to Randolph and he says, "I understand that you are an engineer."
This is correct.
He's never driven the train.
He what?
He's never driven the train.
Yeah, right. Yes. So tell me, I understand that you did some work with the Scout Service and from the Navy, but have you ever been an engineer for a vessel of this size? I mean, 75,000 tons. That's a big ship.
Of course not. No, I haven't, but the hardware is still the same.
So yeah, that would be true.
I mean, life support is basically a life support system, and we use all the same power systems. Maybe it's bigger size, but it's still technically the same technology.
He smiles and nods. He says, I would imagine there's probably a lot more of it.
Just a few more.
That's about as technical as the Duke is.
Yes, he's going to get.
And he shakes Jack's hand. He says, I understand that, well, I don't know that you really have a designation. And he kind of laughs. He says, I understand that you're the chief diplomatic officer.
Shotgun specialist.
Oh my God.
That would be untrue. I am not the diplomatic officer. I am security, largely in charge of destruction of contraband.
Oh, so customer service. And he turns to George. He says, I understand you have a background in law enforcement.
I just drive people to where they need to go, and I take prisoners where they need to go, and I babysit prisoners from where they need to go, and I just need to get out of here.
Well, he says, from what I understand, you're really getting out of here with this exploration mission. That's impressive. That's impressive.
The farther away, the better. Less child support payments.
He says, I totally hear that.
Done that. I've been there, done that. Thank God they grew up.
And he turns to Sarda and he shakes your hand and he says, tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm an engineer specializing in jump drive mechanics, as well as being a sensor operator, former Navy.
So you're going to be of a huge importance to this mission.
We've been instrumental. I've been working closely with those that are doing all the scanning and surveying. Yeah.
He says that is fast. Of course, I of course spent some time in the Navy, but I would expect that my time in being of the nobility, my time in the Navy is very much different than any of yours. And he says, he says, so tell me what do you guys?
I'm thinking, yeah, you probably weren't court-martialed for getting a bunch of people killed.
right. It's just quietly shoveled under a carpet somewhere and ignored. He says, so tell me, or do you venture any guesses on what you expect to find on your way, or even once you reach Terminus Point?
We're really not certain. Hopefully enough food to sustain us. The ship needs to keep fed, and unfortunately that's not something we can provide for ourselves completely. So we're at least hoping to find places that are habitable that will provide us food.
He says, so, and he kind of looks at Jack, and he goes, are you concerned about running into hostile alien life forms?
No.
Jack's like, no, I'm completely unconcerned.
I'm completely unconcerned. We're well prepared. We all have flame rifles.
Yeah. And he nods and he says, is there any information that you have about alien life on at Terminus Point?
I don't know how we would have that information.
We don't.
To my knowledge, nobody's been there yet.
Right. That's a safe answer. And he nods and he says, well,
I expect if there is, the laser will kill it.
He kind of laughs. He goes, always keep a good laser at your side, especially you want the good laser at your side in two situations: when you're going into the unknown, or when you're going to a diplomatic conference.
We found UV lights and fireworks works well too.
And his eyebrows kind of go up at that, and he goes, "Oh, okay, yeah." And he finds that very interesting. He kind of looks around and he kind of pulls all of you over a little bit, and he says, "So I do have a favor to ask, and I would ask the captain directly, but it seems that well, not to put too fine a point on it, but you guys are the media darlings, and it seems that you have a little bit more sway into the running of the ship." Perhaps in a political manner even than the captain does. And the favor that I would like to ask is that I have a distant relative, my great niece. Well, I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but I would really like to request that you take her along with you on the mission. She is Sub-Lieutenant Sir Alix Venati, and he points over and to this woman, and she looks like this.
20-year mission's a good way to hide a pregnancy.
No, she is wearing a naval uniform, and he says, well, he says, it would be prestigious for her family to be involved in an endeavor as such of such great impact as this. And he says she's young, she's ambitious, she's headstrong, And he says, I'm going to be real honest with you. I believe that it is most likely that she is liable to end up in the front line of a war. And I fear that one is coming very soon. And
well, she'd be gone for over 20 years, right? So,
which is why I would like to send her along. And he says, the reality is that because she's so headstrong, she's going to do nothing more than try to live up to her family's ancestry, and that's going to put her into. I don't know. Are you, Jack? Because I'm looking at her, and that's an awfully strong jaw. I'm just saying, you might want to check her for scars. But
you're forgetting the time he stripped down to his underwear and knife fight somebody outside.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Jack did did pull a Brock Sampson, but so he says, she's just headstrong, and I don't want her to get herself killed, she's young. She's only 23 years old. But she is already a sub-lieutenant. Of course, she's nobility.
Yeah.
And he says it would be great if you guys could, add her to the mission division.
What kind of skills does she have?
Well,
she has security clearance.
She's an Imperial spy.
Yeah.
No duh.
She has athletics 0.
She's definitely the Duke spy.
Athletics 0, gun combat 0, gunner capital 2, mechanic 0, pilot starship 1, and vac suit 1.
She's technically got more capital skills than I do.
Right.
Me too. All my stuff is.
Yeah, I
spent my Navy time in a Corvette.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of sensitive matter in this, and it might be above our pay grade to accept somebody. We can't to do the mission staff. That requires certain clearances that we are not able to provide.
We can definitely request it though.
Yeah,
but please do, and he says,
It may cause her politically to be handicapped, right? She's going to miss 20 years of politics, which means that when she returns, she won't be familiar with whatever's happening.
That's one way of looking at it, but the reality is that after 2 decades of seniority, she'll come back and probably go from sub-lieutenant straight to commander at the very least, which will... He goes, honestly, it'll bypass the career ladder and shuttle her into an important but safe post somewhere.
Would she be interested in helping me test some of my pharmaceuticals?
Let me do an endurance diplomacy check to see if I can stop laughing at that.
The Duke kind of raises his eyebrows. He goes, I'm sure that she would be willing to help you in any way that you would require. Allow me to introduce you. And so he waves over Sir Alexa Venati, and she comes over, and she is as abrasive as she looks. Just for the power, I need to bring her picture back up. So, she is just as abrasive as she looks. She comes over. She's got this kind of snotty, better than everybody attitude.
She's royalty. She's a sir.
Right. Yeah, she's already a knight.
Sir.
Yeah, she's already a knight, or a dame, and she comes over. She says, "Yes, uncle," and he introduces each of you, and she shakes each of your hands, and everybody can make a just make a recon plus intellect check.
That is 9 plus 5. It's 14. That's only a 14 this time.
Okay. Let's see, Jack.
I get a 7.
So it looks like Jack and George, you both in listening. The rest of you are like, "Oh my God, really? We're gonna have to put up with her." Whereas Jack and George, you get a different feel for this, especially George.
I want to read her surface thoughts.
She is a royal pain in the ass. Jack and George automatically know that she is just a pain in the ass. But you also note in chatting with her that she is competent in her skill levels. She is more or less competent in her field. And if you were to handle her properly, she could be a huge boon to the mission. And when I say handle her properly, she is clearly an Imperial first. So
Yeah, she'd make a great gunner. She's not
Yeah,
necessarily
she
make
make
a
a
great
great gunner.
mission.
Capitalist gunner. Do we have any capital guns on this thing?
oh yeah,
I'm sure it's got a spine, I believe.
yeah, it has a spinal mount weapon. It has quite a bit. Well, here, I'll show you.
Maybe she just needs somebody to love her the way she needs to be loved.
Oh,
Oh.
that sounds like more work than I'd be willing to put in. But yeah, it's got
That sounds like a
fusion
job for
barbettes.
Josephus.
It's got sandcasters, beam lasers, point defense batteries. Yeah, I mean, she's not packing pop guns, but
I mean, she may not be great for the mission control job, but I think she'd be a great gunner for the ship, and she'd probably fit in well there.
So the other thing that George knows is that there are, there are those among the crew that are devoted Imperials. I mean, most of the crew is more like, gung ho about the mission itself. There are those on the crew that, are Imperial first and mission second. And part of this idea of using her competently and handling her in the right way could be in, if this is going to be a long mission, and if morale dips, and of course it will, due to fatigue.
She's an enforcer.
If there's factions within the ship that are,
you could use her to kind of,
you could use her to guide those,
right?
Because she's a aristocratic Imperium,
right?
And so she may have sway over any loyalists to the Imperium,
exactly.
if that's how things are going to divide up.
Exactly.
I thought it was going to be like the other Deep Space ship, and we'd have engineers versus flight crew versus.
I mean, that could happen too. That would be worse. But so and the Duke's, the Duke kind of whispers to George. He says, "I don't want you to think that this is a bribe, but I could, if you were to put in a good word to get her on the mission, I could definitely send a shipment of supplies that may be worth your while."
Absolutely. She seems quite competent in what she can do.
He says, I know that she seems abrasive. You have to keep in mind she is young.
And entitled.
I'm pretty sure a few years on a ship will be able to settle that down.
Says it's exactly my thought. That's exactly my thought. I'm glad that we're on the same page.
Yeah, we'll definitely get her a place on the crew.
Okay.
You know what? And I don't even know if I can or not, but I'm just going to make that promise anyways, because I have absolutely, even with the 2 to social you gave us, I'm still sitting at a 6. So, and I'm not well educated, but I'll try to find somebody who can write a great letter of recommendation, because obviously I know that's definitely not me. I'm just a driver.
Well technically, you guys technically, you guys do have the authority. You can just say, "Okay, she's on mission staff."
Well,
are.
then let's just do it.
Yeah, you're on mission. Yeah, no problem.
I'd rather
we'll need-
put her on ship crew.
We'll need to make sure she signs some waivers. We do not want to be liable if.
Well, I mean, once you bring
happens.
her onto the mission division, you can transfer her anywhere you want in the ship.
We can assign her to overseeing the gunners.
Yeah, it's most likely.
I think that's a good suggestion.
It would be most likely that she would get transferred into bridge crew, to be honest.
So I'm going to ask her, do you have any hobbies that might be interested in pursuing for the next 20 years? Because it can get pretty boring.
She responds kind of in a snotty manner. I like to study naval military doctrine.
Perfect. I would load up a lot of databases of that stuff because you're going to have plenty of time to read.
She doesn't seem particularly thrilled with her uncle's idea of putting her on this mission, but she does see the value in it, but she doesn't really see the excitement of it. She, being young and stupid, she is more glory bound for combat, thinking that that's going to be her quick route into the history books. And you can tell everything that she does is for clout.
Quick path to death.
See, our focus has been surviving the encounter and then surviving the debriefing.
Right. And in some cases, the debriefing was
more lethal.
More lethal than the combat. And so, does she does well. She is part of the Imperial Navy, so yes, she does have a red shirt. It's more of a maroon color, but
the gold shirts die at a higher rate.
Yeah. Or they go crazy, or are just, they look like they're chronically drunk. I'm thinking back to TOS every time they met another ship, and it's like, is that captain for that other ship, like the Defiant? Has he been drinking for the past 3 years? What's going on? Well, he just looks like shit.
One guy went through the original series and basically took count of every single depicted character and then every death and figured out numerically the red shirts die more, but in terms of the rate of death, far more gold shirts died than red shirts in terms of percentage of deaths.
Yeah,
there aren't nearly as many gold shirts, and they died at a pretty high rate when you consider how many were depicted.
So this week kind of goes on. Is there any last minute things you want to do before leaving Tobia?
Yeah, I want to invite the crew. I mean, the captain and the executive officer and the science officers to a nice lunch somewhere that the Chamberlain has advised me what restaurant we should go to.
Okay.
That's the best foods. Well, maybe not quite the best, but anything reasonable within 12K.
Yeah,
I'll do the same. I'll do the same for like the sensors crew and and then the engineers, the jump guys.
Okay.
So take them out, throw them a good night on town.
Okay, so that is a huge boost to their morale. And the next morning, you are loading up the shuttle, and in the shuttle is carrying, between actually a couple of shuttles, they are carrying 200 tons of luxuries. And you receive each of you gets it's a carbon copy, message from the Duke of Tobia personally to you guys, thanking you for attending the private audience, wishing you well on your mission, and
I would invite her to go out with those people so that she gets basically introduce her to all those folks.
Okay, so yeah,
if we have our meals at different times, I'd invite her too.
Yeah, you can do that.
Introduce her to everybody.
Yeah, it's a generic kind of good wishes message and whatnot. And the attached to this message is a list of what is in these 200 tons of consumables, and it is essentially high end, like champagne, cheeses, caviar,
Yummy.
Smoked salmon, all in stasis crates. And it is food that would normally be found on like a duke's yacht or even the emperor's himself. And this is his gift to you.
Nice.
So we can have a bite a week for the next 20 years.
You could. So these luxury consumables can be used if morale is starting to dip or the fatigue is getting too high. You could share these with the crew, and it will effectively decrease fatigue. It will increase morale, and the crew will like you a lot more and be much happier with their jobs. After a couple bottles of champagne and some caviar, will be much more apt to.
Do we have any foie gras?
Yeah, there's probably some of that. I mean, there's all manner. You think of the high-end food, and it's probably in these crates, but there's only 200 tons of it. So,
I'll give her a list of things to pack that'll make things more comfortable. I don't know if she's gone to space like this before, but I'll just give her a list of here's stuff I've found is very, very helpful. You might want to pick this up before we leave.
Go ahead and make a persuasion plus charm check.
Sure. This will be awful. All right, my charm is 8. And my persuade is
alternately if
0.
If charm is low, you can use soch if you'd like.
My social's also 8.
Yeah. Hey, that's still a success. So she, says something along the lines of, "I've accepted a billet before," but she does take your advice to heart, and she packs, Yeah,
I'm suggesting things like the sleep inducer, sphere of solace, things like that that'll actually,
Yeah.
The entire contents of the Imperial Senior Naval Academy.
Yeah, she shows up on the shuttle, and she basically has an oversized, military style duffel, and her uniform, and she's carrying a gas pistol, and that's all. That's whatever she's bringing is in that duffel.
Right on.
We're gonna have to inspect the duffel.
No, we're not. I'm not. You want to inspect that duffel? You go right ahead.
Who's supposed to inspect for?
I'll inspect
I
for
just-
contraband.
I just want to do a quick scan of it. I mean, just to make sure she's not
I'm sure
bringing
she's
anything
bringing
fucked
Imperial-
up.
So,
Imperial Pixie.
but Cephas, you said that you wanted to scan her surface thoughts. Go ahead and make that roll.
All right, yeah, we'll do that.
I'm a regular engineer, and I brought 4 guns, 4 suits of armor, vaccine. It's like,
You guys are like you're going hunting for bear. So, Bocephus, her surface thoughts are nervousness about this mission. Especially, she's going to be away for so long. She's going to miss her family. She's going to miss her friends. I mean, you're a little shocked that she actually has friends, but whatever. It's people that she calls friends. The other thing that is on her mind is that there is a massing Jodani fleet along the Jodani and Spinward Marches border. And there is some fear that the Zhous are going to be going into the demilitarized zone and breaking the treaty, which, of course, could set off the 5th Frontier War.
And we're
Okay.
flying by there.
Yeah.
Not that closely, no. Where they're massing is in the Spinward Marches, which is quite a ways core word.
We're in the Trojan Reach.
Yeah, you're in the Trojan Reach. So, I mean, relatively close, but not close that you have to, check your drawers yet.
The sword worlds are up there.
Right. And that's part of it too. The other thing that she thinks of, in addition to this, is that there seems to be some connection between the Jodani fleet, or there's a believed connection between the Jodani fleet, terrorist actions along the border of the Sword Worlds and the Spinward Marches, and with some anti-Aslan terrorist groups operating in the Trojan Reach. Just a couple weeks ago, on Acrid, there was an air raft was loaded with explosives that was set off in a Aslan neighborhood, and there was 15 Aslan killed, 10 humans, a couple of Argur, and that it has been deduced that the kind of explosives that were used are not. I mean, the Trojan Reach is a lawless place where almost anything can be gotten if you look hard enough, but this seemed more like they had backing.
So nukes or no?
It was a pocket nuclear device.
Nice.
Yeah, just to strike her thing. I'll ask her if she has any experience with nuclear explosives or anything like that.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, because Gunner Capital, capital ships, Imperial capital ships do maintain a nuclear arsenal.
No kidding.
Should we give her an official debriefing now that we're on the ship?
I can hear it out. Jack's going to be like, I'll debrief her.
Talk about the fungus,
The fungus among us?
Yeah, she's
definitely in the Navy.
She served in the Navy. She's a sub-lieutenant.
Yeah, she's a sub-lieutenant. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to debrief her on this...
yeah, we can show her some video footage of the fungus.
Do we have a clearance to do that?
You are mission division commanders, so
to my knowledge, they've not removed my videotape footage. So
right? Yeah,
if she's going to be serving on our team,
if she's serving on our team, she needs to know to bring that flame rifle.
Well, she needs to start training in heavy weapons so that she can use the ones on the ship. We all do.
Right.
Those are actually just as good as the flame rifle, but they have a better range. I think they're 40
or 50.
It's
bulky for me.
So
I don't have the strength of the dex for it.
She goes over your video as you guys are explaining this situation. Do you tell her that you've already run into this thing twice? And
Yep.
She suddenly seems a lot more interested in this mission. She was expecting this to be some boring stargazing tour for the next 28 years. And so this is actually a lot more up her alley, so to speak.
Yeah. If we fail on this mission, everything goes to shit eventually. Everything dies. It turns into a fungus.
Or we don't come back, one or the other.
Yeah.
But we certainly couldn't tell your uncle about the threat that it...
So she, when you tell her you certainly couldn't tell your uncle, she kind of laughs and she says, well, there's probably a classified data packet en route to him as we speak.
Well,
I mean,
it'll include our footage and he'll see our faces all over.
Exactly.
So that'll be pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she, after watching the videos and being debriefed on this, she kind of apologizes. And she says, I do apologize for, I overheard some of my uncle's questions of you. And you have to realize he has she says, my uncle has been the Duke of Tobia for some time. And he's one of the more respected nobles and politicians in the region. And he got that because he tries to get information from other avenues before he receives official word from intelligence. And that way, he can tell whether or not the intelligence that he's gotten is correct or not. Because intelligence isn't always right. And so, of course, he was probing you guys for information to see if it will match up with what he's going to receive in that data packet, or if the data packet is just completely full of shit, which she laughs. She goes, it's Imperial intelligence. Half the time it's full of shit.
Well, all of our reports that we turned in were extremely accurate and highly detailed. This is very dangerous, and you do need to go over procedures for your own personal hygiene and your living environment, and study that first.
She nods. She says that is evidently a good idea. She says, is bladed melee combat in your underwear a requirement, or? And she just kind of laughs. She goes, I'm joking.
I believe that was a hobby.
That was a want, not a need. So you guys depart Tobia, and the next two jumps are fairly. You're still in Imperial space. You go to Saris, and you go to Cordelon. And the next jump is slightly shorter, but it's going to take you for the first time outside of Imperial space. And you'll be stopping at Dolberg. Now, Dolberg is a amber zoned world. And from what you understand about Dolberg, and this is fairly common knowledge in your Imperial databases, what you understand about Dolberg is that it is hold on here it is. So the planet has a government type 9, so it is an impersonal bureaucracy, and they don't really have a standard classification for it, because governed by giant psychic symbiotic whales isn't really on the spectrum. And so what you learn, or what you know about this, is that Dolberg, there is a race of intelligent whales on the planet that live deep in the sea. It is mostly a water world, and they are called the Hirsoon. And they are aquatic creatures, obviously, that live at great depths. There have been very, very few sightings of an actual Hirsoon. The people of Dolberg, so the planet has a tainted atmosphere that most people find toxic and will kill them. However, the humans living on Dolberg, they arrived many generations ago. They were part of a colony ship that arrived from the Second Imperium. So, Dolberg's been populated for some time. And they have breathed in a symbiotic life form of microscopic echinoderms. They are sea cucumbers. And these sea cucumbers have coated their lungs and filter out the toxins in the atmosphere. The flip side of that is that eventually they kind of vomit out these echinoderms, and the echinoderms go back into the sea, and they go back down to the Hirsoon, and the Hirsoon then have a symbiotic psychic link with the population. The population doesn't make any decisions for themselves. The Hirsoon tell them to do everything, and I do mean everything. They are told who to marry, where to live, when to eat, etc. It's not that they are psychic slaves. They do have minds of their own. They just find that to live any other way is distasteful, and they don't understand why anybody else would live the way they do. And so basically you get to when you get to Dolberg, the command crew, the bridge crew, captain, basically tells everybody we don't want to go down. We'll use the high port, and we're going to fuel up at the high port, and then we'll be leaving Dolberg. However, Sarda, are you telepathic as well?
I am.
Okay. So Sarda and Bocephus.
I don't know how well known that is. It's probably far more well known than Bocephus is.
Right. Oh, I'm sure. But
since his race is psionic.
That is really of no matter. And man, I'm gonna slaughter this name, so bear with me. You both get a telepathic message while docked at the high port over Dolberg, and this is Dolberg. So they're 1.72 AU out. Like I said, it is mostly a water world. There are some land masses. Very exceptionally deep oceans. And Bocephus and Sarda, in your mind, and this goes right past your psychic shielding, you hear, I am Hersuna Jonunun, and I speak to you through the many mouths of the surface self. Are troubled by a starship that intrudes on our ocean. They hide beyond the clouds in the great void and sometimes drop probes and other irritations into the ocean. We are knowledgeable in the ways of technology, yet we do not build ships. You have a ship. You will find this other ship and bring them to us that they may explain their actions to us and atone for their offense. And then the telepathic link drops.
Okay.
I will meet with Sarda on the side so we can discuss this.
I am flat out freaking out. Is what you're gonna say.
Hey, there's something fishy about this.
Oh, jeez. Really?
I don't know. You gotta understand. I learned telepathy just to keep people out of my head.
Right.
That guy just blew right through.
Yeah, and it came through like somebody that turned the gain up way too high. So, like, almost like it's so loud, it's almost slightly distorted in your brain.
Yeah, I think we should avoid this and just
run away.
I kind of do too, because I mean, there's a ship basically hiding somewhere nearby that's dropping drones, probes into the ocean, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
We can run a scan for it.
Yeah, let's scan like crazy, figure out what this is.
Okay, go ahead and make a sensors plus intellect or education check.
Sure. And I have the advantage of an expert system on top of that. It's a 15.
Nice. So you are detecting that there is a vessel. It is a lab ship that is So yeah, it is a Type L laboratory ship, the Ring vessels. Basically, it is a jump-capable mini space station. And it is in orbit around the far side of Dolberg, on the opposite side of where the high port is. And it's kind of maintaining that position. The other thing that your sensors pick up is that you do detect the metallic masses of probes that have been launched in the ocean, and there's a number of sites where these are popping up in the sea.
Dolberg is not Imperium, so what kind of government? I mean, do they, in terms of this, is this like a Judaica-owned Highport, or is this actually this planetary?
It is a Jadeka-owned Highport.
And then the defense of the system defense, is it negligible, or is there?
Jadeco's got some system defense boats.
Okay, but the planet itself's not putting any up there.
No. In fact, from everything that you're detecting about Dolberg is that they don't have any need for that. They're all peaceful. It's like a big, gigantic hippie colony down there.
Got it.
I mean, as long as you're sleeping with the people that the whales tell you to sleep with, then you're perfectly fine. You're happy.
So, Bocephus, what do you say we send them like an encrypted message from the Highport saying that the life forms on the planet are aware of their probes and would like to talk with them?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, we don't want to really have it tracked. It's not an Imperium directive. We don't want to have it. We don't want to broadcast it from our ship or anything like that. But might want to.
Is this a highly armed ship, space station, or is it just,
space stations typically aren't? Yeah.
You mean the Highport? The Highport's armed. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about this.
Oh, the lab ship? No.
Lab ships they're kind of cool. They're big rings so that they actually can do artificial gravity in case the grav mechanics screws with any of their experiments.
Right. Yeah, they can generate their own gravity by spinning.
If you ditch a whole bunch of the science labs, you do end up with about 100 tons of cargo space. So hypothetically, they could be, you could technically arm them.
And they have a pinnace as a.
They have 2 hard points on them.
Yeah. So
I mean, we should at least send a cease and desist.
Or just they don't necessarily. They're not necessarily asked. They didn't necessarily ask that they cease and desist. They wanted to talk to them on the planet. So.
I wonder how come they can't telepathic. Well, maybe they aren't telepathic.
Yeah, that's what I agree. We should send a message saying that your presence is requested on the planet, and give a location that the entity suggests.
There's humans down there, right? So
yeah, lots of them. Like in the, I want to say in the billions.
Is there an actual down port?
There is.
All right. Well, then, yeah, that would be to suggest that they dock at the down port and discuss with the humans.
Yeah.
Here.
I guess out of you and me,
I suppose the whales could use their humans to translate.
Yeah, I've got comms 1. Do you have better?
This is what a lab ship looks like.
Oh, that's a really cool picture of one, actually.
It is a really cool picture of one. You even got the pennants in there too, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have comms 0, but I have a +1 for education. I can slot a comms 2. I can actually slot my comms 2.
So the lab.
All right. Well, then take your +3 and try to communicate with that.
The lab ship is pinging as the Insight 3.
No.
I thought you'd like that.
Those fucking clowns.
So you've met these people before?
Oh yeah, I know all about it.
I've actually got another +1 on top of that, so that's actually an 8, and so it's just a encoded message.
This one.
Yep, that's the one.
I turned their lab ship into my version of Death Station. I hated them so much, so they could just eat each other. That's what my Pirates of Drynax group found.
Yeah, and that's probably coming up for my Pirates group as well. But actually, that's already come up. But they're going to get to re-meet Insight 3. And so you're sending a coded burst packet.
Yeah.
And who are you sending that to?
To the Insight 3.
Okay. What are you saying?
I'm actually writing it right here.
Okay.
With what you guys know of Insight 3, would it be a good idea to take our scout ship over there? Or are they gonna
Nope. This is.
Is
I think
that a bad idea?
just send them this message and then get on the ship and leave. I think that's we've done our due diligence. Yeah, the whales of the planet are aware of your probes and would like to speak with you about them. Please dock at the downport and speak to local representatives.
Nice. So you do get a message, or you actually get a voice comm from Insight 3. They're requesting, they're hailing you.
Sure. I'll accept it without video.
So the individual on the other end introduces himself as Professor Alfred Banks, and you can go ahead and make a intellect or education check, or actually just go ahead and make a recon plus intellect check.
All right.
That's how we'll do that.
8.
Okay, so you have heard of this guy before. He is more. Everybody calls him a scholar. Everybody believes he's this big name in the science fields. As far as what science, it's really hard to determine. That's never really come out. He more or less just a field researcher. He is a Vargur, and Alfred Banks is not his real name. His real name is completely and totally unpronounceable. But he is really known as a celebrity scientist.
Perfect.
He is more or less the Bill Nye of Traveler. And he is one of the scientists on board. He says, yes, we got your message, Deepnight Revelation. Now,
this is not from the Deepnight Revelation. This was me radioing from the actual.
From the
high port.
Okay, and he says, we got your message, high port. Are you speaking of the Hirsoon?
If those are the psychic whales, sure.
Yeah, that would be them. And you can hear that there seems to be some kind of argument going on between multiple people behind him. And you hear something get thrown in the background and clatter. It sounds like maybe it was like a water bottle or something. It clatters against the bulkhead. And he says, "Oh, well, we will send the pinnace down immediately. Perhaps you would be so kind as to meet us."
That would not be possible.
No, go on and just tell them. Say, yeah, we'll meet you there. Just, talk to the representatives and then ask to meet us. Once they're down there and they've made contact, we've fulfilled our thing and we can go on. We don't have to actually keep our word. Just tell them, yeah, we'll meet you there. Fuck it. See you there. Buy me a drink.
See how he's that way.
Make sure it's a big one.
I don't want to give up my identity. It's I'm just gonna say that would not be possible.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm simply relaying a message.
He acknowledges receipt, and he says that they will plan to launch the pinnace and go meet with representatives at the downport. You know that this guy, his last publication was titled 1 Week More or Less, Jump Space for the Working Sophont. It's basically jump space for idiots. And that was his last big book that he went on tour for. So yeah, he cuts comms, and the next thing that you see on the high port sensors is Insight 3 leaving orbit.
As in leaving the system?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not seeing the pinnace go down.
No, they're getting out of there.
All right. Well, we did what we could.
Okay. All right. So, well, there goes that. So the Deepnight Revelation loads up with supplies. And once again, heads off. Your next stop will be Homestead, and we will pick up at Homestead next week at 7 o'clock on Friday night as you guys make your way up the Dust Belt. This is a great example of these maps. There's a lot of green space here. That is not indicative of Homestead. Homestead's very brown.
Yeah, I found these world maps don't match a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean even the picture of Homestead. I mean you're like, yeah, that's a really brown planet. What's with all this green? But anyways, we will pick this up next week at 7 o'clock with you arriving in orbit of Homestead and probably refueling at the large gas giant near Homestead because there's really not a whole lot of need to go down there.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. It was fun.
I might radio the downport and basically I don't even know what it is to say, but basically say that I received a message from what can only be the whales of your planet.
Okay.
I extended an invitation to the science ship that was sending probes down. It appears that they have left, rather than accept the invitation to discuss things with.
The whale man.
So Sarda and Bocephus then receive a pretty much it's like an empathic projection. The Hirsoon are pissed off, but not at you, but pissed off.
Right.
Oh, hi there.
I'll just say I did not warn them away. I simply invited them down to the planet, and they chose to leave.
Okay. Well, and I mean the Hirsoon are powerful enough psychically that they would know whether you're lying or not. So,
sure.
Yeah. No, they get it, and so yeah, and you fuel up and leave and head for Homestead. We will pick this up next week as you guys make your way up.
I will give them details on the ship, though. The name of the ship and the the guy that was the scientist.
Okay, Professor Alfred Banks.
It may make more sense for the humans, but
okay,
at least they can track them.
Okay. All right. We will see you next week at 7 o'clock.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
See you guys later.
Yep.
Oh, Chris.
Yes.
There's going to be a couple Fridays this month I may not be able to attend, just so you know.
Okay.
I'm doing a Dungeon Crawl Classics at a local place here.
Nice.
Friday. And we have a local con, which I'm also GMing, Traveler Destination, actually, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
So I won't be there. I'm not quite sure on the exact dates, but I'll let you have lots of advance notice, all right? And
okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, cool. Have a good night, man.
Okay, you too.